She's a space cowboy blue. She's a space cowboy blue. Ajalon, home. Wherever I lay my hat is where I belong. I'm always gone like a rolling stone. Beating the bone, beating the bone, beating the bone. She's a space cowboy blue, Ajalon. Where she be in between places, she move between spaces, instigating interzonal cases, unknown, unseen, in between, investigating interzonal cases, representing unheard, in between, breaking out stasis, radio static oasis, the place where her microphone graces. She's a space cowboy blue. Watch she tighten up her laces. Rocket boost charge, she dimension, frequency, sensation, disciple of creation. Be patient. She move in all direction without detection like a viral transmission. Breaking the cage with all this rage, feeling her rocket boots flying high, high, soaring up all that sky, singing bye-bye, bye-bye. She defy Escher staircases as she lying waiting to see where the winds of change may take she. She carries no bags, just notebooks and rag tags, rewiring the matrix. She's a space cowboy blue. Home, wherever I lay my hat is where I belong. I'm always gone like a rolling stone, beating the bone, beating the bone, beating the bone. Hey guys, I'm Jamika Ajalon, coming to you from way someplace in Paris. No, I am in Paris. And as was explained, I am a filmmaker, poet. Well, actually, I'm a writer at base, and I use different mediums as my pen. I use film, video, sound, and all that kind of thing. And the next thing I'm going to read to you, because I'm in a blue, blue, blue kind of mood, is a poem that I wrote called Them Nowhere Home Blues. And that poem is in this book, Take Back the Narrative, which is available via lpressl.com, or you can check it out at Amazon, but you can get a better copy, cheaper copy if you go via my website. And I also have limited edition versions, chapbook versions, which were done by Rizzo Press. You know, there's a few of those left. You can always DM me if you're interested in that. Anyway, so the poem I'm going to read is called Nowhere Home Blues. It's dedicated in a way to Langston Hughes. But again, this was a piece that started out as a poem, but then became what I call a sonic video. And I did this in collaboration with a poet named Fork Burke. You can also check that video out if you go to my website. I have all the links there for many of my sonic videos. This one is called Nowhere Home Blues. Blues, carrying my shoes. From one go to another stop, nowhere. Imprints, pissed, stained, pleasure worlds of road. Avenues and boulevards. Ask Langston, Hughes would agree. The poetry of the city marinates, skull-high sands and loose coin and blues bones, tied in black and froth and indigo, tied up in a knot out back my throat. Got me up and left me gone. This road ain't so short, but it don't seem so long. Them blues sisters been sitting around me in they kingdom throne, singing me they songs, and I've been taking notes like, who ever heard Why she take to the road when nowhere is home for so long? Nowhere is home for so long. Okay. So that was from the book Take Back the Narrative. And I want to say that actually I'm working on a French version of this book. Je peux pas en français, mais tu vois, c'est vraiment difficile faire introduction de français, de la poésie en anglais. Peut-être tout à l'heure, dans un autre temps, je peux la faire. In anglais, je dis, there's no way in the world I'm going to read anything in French because it's almost impossible to read my poetry in French. It's not impossible, but it's a hard thing to do. The next thing I'm going to read for you is called, it's something I wrote at the beginning of last year called Cosmic Joke 2020. I wrote it at the beginning of last year, and the first place that I performed it was in Amsterdam at this underground speakeasy. This was obviously before the lockdown, that I wrote this. I was with another very brilliant poet named Win Harms that, in fact, Nina introduced me to. And you could hear more about her work as well through my podcast called Circuit Gaze, because I also work as an archivist, which means that I collect bits of time and bits of happenings in different kinds of ways. And one of those ways is through this podcast called Circuit Gaze. Anyway, back to this. This one is called Cosmic Joke, which in fact, I've also collaborated with Malik on. We've got like a little thing, hopefully being really soon, that we'll present to the world. Okay, anyway, Cosmic Joke. It's proven. People will die and kill in the name of the illusion. I'm not speaking anything new. This parable has been told and told and told so many times. Photocopies have been necessarily interwoven into the lie so that we can each generation talk romantically about revolution, revolution, as if the apocalypse is always dawning. Some of us are yawning. If the apocalyptic routine is anything, it's folks struggling to deal with those safety sham tropes, desperate to reanimate those dried up lies. Yep, those folks against those other yokes who are like, fuck you, you safety sham trope people, your ghost ropes are killing me. And they chant and we march and we chant and we march. And then there's some of us who are yawning and feeling like, is this real? Is this really, really real? Are our memories so finite, or is it just a comfort phrase like, never before, worse than ever, never before? It's like, worse than ever, 3 times the raven crowed. I love playing Avocat Diable, and one gets fatigued, and it's so easy then to just believe. Depends on how you spend knowledge as liberator or enslaver. And all the Google heads, the snowflakes, designators, and fake book faithers gather around together to dance a frenzied dance to this apocalyptic dawning. As I sit here with my thoughts in smoke, I find myself wondering, is 2020 a cosmic joke? Okay. The next piece that I'm going to read, and the last one, I know it's a short reading. If we have time for more, maybe later, I'm going to read is called Transmissions 33, AKA Replicant. And this particular piece was first made as a part of a collaboration with my brother Meister Carlos, who's based in Berlin. It's a part of his album called Pop Dysphoria. But it also featured in Speculative City, which is a journal of science fiction writing. And in this particular thing, which did come out at the beginning of this year, was focused on Afrofuturistic writing. So this particular piece is from a spokesperson for a revolution based on, well, that's headed and spearheaded by musicians, because music is all but in this very future interdit, comment on dit ça en anglais, interdit, forbidden, and is under great state control. So you have a spokesperson who speaks to rally up the people. If you want to see the video for this, you can look it up. It's Reverse Bullets is the name of his company. Reverse Bullets, spelled as it sounds. And there's a video that this piece is included in or based around. I'm a fugitive, that's how I live, as I go along making up the narrative, as I go along making up the narrative. What I am is fugitive, living among you, simultaneously in a parallel light years away, in the resonance. Through the marimba portals, past the Milky Ways tapped by sun raw sonics, and from which train got his ephemeral on in the attic, just go ask Alice. The portals that the Billy, Bessie, and Rainy Trinity maintain in concert with other sound keepers from pulse to cacophony. But I am not I, but we. A vocal that remembers and sees, designed to reawaken frequencies of a timeline from before, where music is free. This is a transmission for all ready to dedicate heart to the art of rememory, carried as a tree carries memory rings. All that I'm about to tell you, you are already knowing. Sound once made doesn't disappear, but resonates. Resonance, resound us. Resonance, resound us. Listen deep. A love supreme as roadmap and diviner to Jimmy's machine gun, still reverberating aboard Fela's horn transportation to Billy's strange fruit blowing through interzonal foliage. Hear it in the chain gang, hear it in your morrow, because the song is yours. Remember. As sample crack in the blue, see Marley make two opposing but equally brutal Majorborg monobots. Oh, what happened to the second page? Shit.
That's all right, do another one.
Hold on. Clasp hands, there it is. Okay, we go, rewind, back it up. Listen deep. A love supreme as roadmap and diviner to Jimmy's machine gun, still reverberating aboard Fela's horn transportation to Billy's strange fruit blowing through interzonal foliage. Hear it in the chain gang, hear it in your marrow, because their song is yours. Remember, listen deeper, remember, as sample crack in the blue. See Marley make two opposing but equally brutal Majorborg monobots clasp hands, tune into lingering frequencies before the thunder struck, and like water, the sonic alters perception, empowers as bullet, as bomb, as awakener. As bullet, as bomb, as awakener, peels away illusion until all that is connected reveals itself. Remember? All that they sell us never was, is. All time is now. The rhythm is salvation, temples shifting with pulse, harmonic fractals, layers layered into smooth streams, continuing. Remember, music still free as an idea, as transformative, loosening the bolts, free your mind. The music is ours as ever and never it was, giving voice to the impossible is. From the resonance, even the age of music as replicant, there is beauty. Listen to what lies beyond, in between the lines. Resonance, resound us, transmission out until the next piece and sounds. Thank you.
Bravo.
Jamika, fantastic. We could do that all day.
Okay.
I know you got hours worth of stuff there.
What?
Welcome to everyone. Anybody who missed the intro, we're here on our trip to Paris in a home cafe in Paris. Which bank are we on over there?
Left. Right? Is it left bank or right bank? We on over here. On the 20e arrondissement. Pour moi.
Okay. Well, hey, speaking of Malik, Ameer Crumpler, he's obviously a poet and a rapper and a composer. He's also an editor and producer and writer and teacher that's been involved in over 50 albums, several glitch art films, 6 books of poetry and a book of raps called Beneath the Underground. He can tell you about that. He's the co-poetry editor, co-host with Paris Lit Up, editor at large of The Opiate, and a curator for Poets Live in Paris, and co-founder of Those That This. He currently lives in Paris. He's been around the block. The Rest Is Now is a poetry EP he can tell you about also, but Malik's most recent poetry offering, which he toured through France, England, and Holland, and DC, thanks to a grant from the DC Commission on the Arts. And he's made the best of the pandemic writing new work. So from the left coast to the left bank via New York and Philly and other places. And before we go to Malik, let's give another round of applause to Jamika Ajalon. And I can't wait to hear more of her work. But now we get the super pleasure of hearing from Malik Ameer Crumpler.
Thank y'all for having me. What's happening, Philly? What's happening, everybody? We're going to get into it. This one's called Let's Do Shots. When dreamers can't afford to dream, because imagination's been evicted by anxiety again. So imagination pops its collar up on its favorite tear-proof winter coat, roams those wet streets cluttered with vibrant tents, collapsing shacks, relapsing into deviated caverns, calm with tail ideas abandoned for humiliated hopes and unchallenged fears. Mankind will never figure out how to print cash from their armpits. Each year's 365 days, right? Each day's 24 hours. So each year we archive 8,760 hours of experience, sleep included. 60 minutes to an hour, right? So that's 525,600 minutes of occurrences. 60 seconds to every minute, right? So every year we gain about 31,536,000 seconds of proof. Dreams, naps, night or day included also. Now there's 1,000 milliseconds inhabiting each second, right? So each and every year we're archiving 31,536,000,000 milliseconds of encounters in our minds, blackouts included. No wonder it's so difficult sifting through all that information just to achieve one simple, sharp idea. This one's called Cores. There, in the center of my forehead lives a non-gendered being, bored with just being non-gendered. There, in the center of my non-gendered being's forehead lives a non-being, bored with being unable to be. There, in the center of my non-being's forehead lives a forehead belonging to no one or no thing peacefully. But there, in the center of my peace lives a tobacco plant, always struggling to smoke itself. And there, in the center of my root stem, lives an ancient village of Bacillus F, bored with being immortals. This one's called The Others. Which life is this? Some say it's hell, some say it's bliss. Some neither know nor care to glimpse what is temporal and what is permanent. So we meet again, but which life is this? Which time is this? I know much has changed, but who still remembers it? Ages come, ages vanished. Ain't it wild how we're still feeling it? Because every action, no matter how small, sends a ripple that collides with the sides of that invisible riddle. You know that riddle, that never-ending riddle. Nevertheless, we meet again. And without saying a word, we ask one another, which life is this? Because some say it's hell, some say it's bliss, and some neither know nor care to glimpse what is temporal and what is permanent. Yeah, we meet again, but which time is this? Friends that was here ain't here now. And to them, may we all take an invisible bow. Much has changed. They still remember it. Their age has come. Their bodies have vanished. Or so my man says, until he drags his eyes from a past where we lived on another planet. Then he almost explains it, but notices we dig him. His wife laughs and asks with all her spirit, yeah, but what's all that got to do with sticking to our budget? We meet again, but which world is this? Talking to her invisible self, she asks, what ain't your name? She blinks, and in that instant, she lives 500,000 lives. So by the time she opens her eyes, she is a grandmother. And to her grandchild, she asks, which life is this? Interruption 59. Because Jamika made it blue, and we all know what else came out that was kind of blue in 59. What about we who linger in looms, luminiferous ones, phosphorescent eyes sparkling about the gender of color, listening to soft-spoken pigments without hearing a word, censoring what we've always been, because no one, not even ourselves, can tolerate another instance of losing. This title is in hieroglyphs, so unless you want me to speak metanetter, I can't. I can't tell it to you. Into unpolished silver waves thrashing, leaf-masked figure born in mid-spin, calligraphied forth from some paused ceremony, where saffron blacked out into demure moods, two lowercase eyes, unconcerned with seeing or being seen, a symbol, unashamed otherness inside an exhausted presence, space, drunk off time, questions matter, through quiet-eyed silk creatures, rising in irrelevant, irreverent, scorched forest, improvising themselves into simple answers again. Phosphorescent bird, mingusing, not a single letter left grinning after a single opulent lie settled in fire's torso, liberating bevies of denied ideas and unsuccessful insults above those two eyes who hallucinated themselves into the page. Rose-cloaked beings arrive, revitalized from forgotten mirrors, chanting in abandoned languages of invisible gardens crowded with succulent black nectarines, dripping ash-soaked harmonies, hummed while blank eyes glow, hungerless vermilion vines from blank bodies reeking of turmeric and cinnamon, not a muscle near a bone. Beneath all that translucent flesh, marinated in phosphorescent prayers, held by hematite silk clinging to damp shadows after amber storms. This one time when I was in England and ran into Kirsty unexpectedly, and then went to Oxford and ran into some other people I wanted to see unexpectedly. Telepathy became clear. So clearer. So here's day 4. Less than Marty. Alongside some Oxford alums, 3 daffodils plucked themselves, squares and riddles, So benches shrine as ascended friends every now and then. 3 daffodils guide you and 2 others through curious lanes. Aphorisms in circles, so Mercury gathers resilient listeners. Church of martyrs, Ashmolean labyrinths, leading Amarna's conclusion to Teneretto's enigmas, cubes and loops, until sculptures encourage brief encounters in campus churches, until founders codex conjures vocations, cylinders and arches, silhouettes on emerald pools, do not touch signs, do not smoke signs, but we do. At river's edge, investigating Hermes, Saturn returns, varying speed of careful charioteers, kind lagash and obsidian ripples, so Neptune reminds Burke's Burke, Crimson's Gilgamesh, harmonizing extraordinary popular delusions and the madness of crowds. One of the others, who prodigaled, returns unsurprised, gathering expressions of cobalt ideas, silver orbs and reminders. So the stone mantra that others, diversify, diversity, cosmic constant, expanding on contradicting, contracting, paradoxes, telescoping, copper octagons and humble waves. So those stone mantras without a knock. Ah, Karen arrives, coughing about improvisations, Apollonian obsessions, wrestle the sun, rectangle ripple, so good old laughter lens, 3 chairs, 3 writers corresponding beyond air, after space, in that other place where whatever isn't represented surely appears once doors disappear. We were talking about haikus. What do I have, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes? 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So here's some haikus. One day a friend of mine gave me Richard Wright's book of haikus, and I've been telepathically talking to Richard Wright for some decades. And this will be brief, I won't do all of them. Richard said in his book of haikus, 209, as my delegate, the spring wind has its fingers in a young girl's hair. My response to Richard was, who wasn't they then, privately or otherwise, harbingers of winged words? Rich came back with, a fleeing white fence is ripping the moon away from the April clouds. I got back at him with, another new old man leans, nothing in his account but circles, trembling blues. Rich sipped his coffee, hit his cigarette and said, a lone lance of sun, spotlighting a lone fly, washing one blue wing. I lit my cigarette and said, Harlem Roach reclines, autumn rain, amber's concrete, sleek at every edge. This one's for AI, since everybody keeps, either having nightmares or blissful dreams or not caring at all about AI. This one's called, Or Have They Been? That AI artist has yet to lose its mind in unemployment lines, trembling about that baby it never meant to make, while desperately hunting agents and curators who adore paying all they can to secure their privacy. Nope. Ain't no AI artist ever nervously submitted their life's work to an ambivalent assistant just to have it dismissed by an incubus-eyed gatekeeper hired and trained to censor threatening works in hopes to dispose of disobedient artists. Yep, ain't no AI artist ever suddenly burst into Indian flames lit by the ruthless fuel of that invisible ancient art world, forever forging celebrities in universities, sex clubs, squats, asylums, or shitty jobs. I mean, ain't no pixel-eyed AI artist ever had to smuggle their dreams past their abusers, deny their nightmares while ashamed of their daydreams, commit drunken atrocities they'll never get over and never remember, just to eventually drop dead on the way to some expensive toilet. AI artists don't even consider themselves artists. You ever heard or seen any one of them ever declare themselves it until that NFT hit? Gotta admit though, AI artists do perfectly reflect their experience being data slaves, too busy to ever notice the possibility of resistance. Yeah, those magenta-minded machine-made makers never woke up anxious, ashamed, and hungover, late for class or that shitty job, Papa Xanax, miss the metro, and just wait. Metro boulot doo-doo. For who knows who or what forgotten God to save them from social obscurity again. I mean, ain't a single AI artist in rehab for choosing self-education over assimilation into a dangerous psychological protocol that'd rather sell a human than help a human cultivate a healthy muse. Honestly now, you ever seen any AI artist lit as the blood moon in some heartbroken ancient bar complaining with other AI artists about how humiliating all the isms is, been, will be, forever ain't, while underneath all that desperately strategizing about how to successfully escape these vicious, mad artist loops so as to make a substantial contribution artistically or technologically to this anti-Enkidu season of man, devoid of any influence from that new ancient patriarchy's gaze? Or have they been? I got one more. Time for one more? Yeah. So since it's Paris-based, we all know Breton. Some of us enjoy Breton, some of us don't. I get inspired by the cat, just like I get inspired by whoever seeks out a way to express themselves that inspires them or whatever. So this is based on a form that Breton came up with for one of his pieces called Ma Femme. I called it my coffee. My coffee, whose hair is a celestial cloud, whose thoughts are honest conceits, whose waist is an event horizon, whose waist is the waist of an elephant prostrating before a woolly mammoth, whose mouth is the dark matter between Andromeda and Cygnus A, whose teeth leave Sam Gilliam streaks staining my enamel, whose tongue is Choctaw leather, whose tongue is jet fuel, the tongue of a sugarcane hoodoo doll with full-size phosphorescent fish eyes whose eyebrows are stovetop flames on low. My coffee, whose temples are humid juke joints in Hot Springs, Arkansas in the 30s, with wise wooden windows sweating moonshine. My coffee, whose shoulders are mountain sweat, are streams that sing from jaguar pupils to condor wings over captured valleys. My coffee, whose russet wrists have never known watches, whose fingers are maracas rattling in unison with our pulse, whose fingers are tobacco stems. My coffee, with armpits full of gorilla ears and Louisiana swamp moss, that are bunkers full of rusted weapons and underground hideouts for North Star chasers, whose arms are swamp spirits and warrior ghosts desperately resisting the colonies, whose arms are smoky topaz lakes, whose legs are scorched constellations for the deceptive quest of any healing being, invisible or otherwise. Taut toenails made of chestnut-eyed children who swam in lava, giggling about blues. My coffee, whose neck is all amber bubbles disappearing on the surface. My coffee, whose chest is the garnet galaxy, full of Teratopsis nutricula and sarcodices of immortality. My coffee, whose torso is a laughing panther, sweating and chewing wet planets, whose swollen stomach is a coconut cracking from inner lightning, Dogon and Bauta'ama. My coffee, with ibis eyes helixing in the vortex, with a back full of preserved lotus pods and peacock tail feathers fanning Hathor. My coffee, whose sixth chakra is labradorite and wet sand, and of steam that swirls through the fingers of someone who has just decided to Lindy hop a little. Malcolm, my coffee, with thighs of an ostrich strong as keels and all acceleration, My coffee, whose aft is astrology and horoscope, whose aft is the dark side of Neptune and autumn, with the sex of satchels knit from 26 as that absent lady swings and sings Golden Lady backwards. My coffee with the attitude of Ovid's lakes. My coffee with exhausted eyes full of Granada's gypsies doing duende dances in crimson smoke, with sharp eyes that are onyx cloaks and Moorish magnets for kind, kindred butler Octavia-eyed, eggshell falling softly beneath, with eyes full of aurora borealis drinking Bjork stars. My coffee with a mind untampered with by colonial classrooms critiquing colonial constructions. My coffee with no sugar, no milk, no nothing, just black. Merci beaucoup.
Wow, dude.
Was that the minutes? Did I get the minutes?
Oh man, you got it. Whatever you did, you got it.
Thank you.
If you could bottle that coffee, man, you'd be. Oh man. Well, everybody, I don't know if you knew you were signing up for a haiku battle between Richard Wright and Malik Crumpler. Who do you think won the haiku battle? I think it was Malik Ameer Crumpler. People, give him a round of applause. Good
I wanted
God.
to show you the Richard Wright book because a lot of people don't have it, but I can't find it on the shelf. I'll show it later. Anyway, merci beaucoup. Looking forward to hearing you, Nina.
See what happens when you go to Paris, people. You get blown away. So,
Aaren, I'm just going to interrupt a second. When that book came out, Julia Wright came to Philadelphia, and we spent a week running around Philadelphia with reading the haiku book. It's a terrific book.
This is it right here. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. His granddaughter's out here, and she's been writing some haikus too. Finally. Anyway, that's it. Merci.
So before we go on to Nina Zivancevic, just keep in mind the same time next week, we're going to have an incredible reading with Sojourner Ahebe, Lisette Lombé, Matthias Malzieu, Daria Nelson, and Jacques Perry Salco. That's at least I get to say my own last name with the good accent. And Sonia can tell you a little bit more about that reading. Let's say we do that. Well, let's see we do that now. Can you say a couple words just briefly about the reading next week so these same folks can tune back in?
Of course, bien sûr. And before I announce that, bravo Jamika et Malik, c'était incroyable. J'aurais aimé vous présenter et j'espère qu'on vous entendra encore. La semaine prochaine, dimanche 18 avril, nous allons accueillir 5 poètes, poétesses, artistes. Pour la plupart vont lire en français. Donc il y aura Matthias Malzieu et sa partenaire Daria Nelson. Matthias Malzieu est le chanteur du groupe Dionysos. Il est aussi poète et musicien. Jacques Perry Salco, anagrammiste, palindromiste. Nous allons aussi avoir Lisette Lombé, qui est une grande figure de la scène slam en Belgique et en France aussi. Et Suzanne Roballet, qui est aussi photographe et comédienne et poétesse. Et enfin, en anglais, lira Sojourner Ahebe. Donc, rendez-vous la semaine prochaine à 2 p.m. Next week, 2 p.m. on Sunday. Merci beaucoup. Aaren, you're muted.
Looking forward to it. Thank you. So yeah, we got time. I mean, we're here. Just think all the time we would have spent sitting in the airport waiting to get there, but we're here. So this is all good. Incredible work, everyone. I'm so excited to bring Nina Zivancevic's work to you right now. Nina is known all over the world for her work. She's I always think of her as Philadelphia, but she's a Paris-based poet that I first heard here in Philly some years ago. I think I barely missed her and another famous poet that she was the secretary for, she can tell you about. And her new book of poetry, you have to pick it up, Roller Skating Notes, will be published by Cool Grove Press in New York in September of this year of change. Her first book was published in '82. In the 2 preceding years, she worked as a secretary and assistant to that poet that she's going to tell you about, maybe. Zivancevic was a Serbian-born author, translator, critic, correspondent, and editor to several publications, including New York Arts Magazine, Modern Painters, American Book Review, République des Lettres, just endless work that she has done, incredible dedication, The Tribes, Nevnik. She has published more than 20 books, poetry and prose, and has translated numerous works into the Serbian. So, Doctor of Comparative Literature and Slavic Studies, teaching at the Sorbonne, she's definitely got insights that will last us a lifetime. Zivancevic received 3 awards and a grant for her literary achievement. And we're super lucky to have, to hear the voice of this, what some people call natural born poet, as she continues humanizing the world with her work. And Sonia, if you want to try to put any of that in French, that would be great.
Sure. Donc, nous accueillons notre troisième artiste poétesse, Nina Zivancevic, qui est basée à Paris et qui a publié plus d'une vingtaine d'ouvrages depuis 1982, où elle a publié son premier livre, jusqu'à aujourd'hui, où son prochain livre, qui s'appelle Roller Skating Notes, va être publié chez les éditions Cool Grove Press à New York. Nina a été secrétaire assistant de Allen Ginsberg, un poète qui est mondialement connu, hein, et on l'a connu en France aussi. Donc, elle est née en Serbie et a traduit nombreux de ses poèmes en langue serbe également. Elle est aussi traductrice, critique, correspondante et éditrice pour beaucoup de publications, notamment le New York Arts Magazine, Modern Painters, American Book Reviews, en France République des Lettres, Les Intempestives, au sud de l'Est, mais aussi, je crois, en espagnol pour El País, Tribes et Netpick. Bienvenue Nina, nous avons hâte de vous entendre et à plus tard.
Merci Sonia, merci. Merci. Merci Aaren, merci Larry, merci Lamont, merci my friend, thank you my friend Molly Rusakov, that I was running through the streets of Philadelphia, Philly, when I was at Temple University in North Philly. Now, 2 things I've learned from Allen Ginsberg. One of them is, the first one is, does my microphone work? He was always asking the same question. So I'm really asking this question, does my microphone work? Because I've had a lot of problems with this whole Zoom thing and microphones today. The second one is how many minutes I've got. That was the second question Alan was always asking. Of course, people were telling him, well, you've got all the time you want, blah, blah, blah. And now this particular book is Tej Hazarika's new baby, Cool Grove Press, Roller Skating Notes. And I started writing that book when I was roller skating in the center, through the Central Park in New York. And okay, and now it pushed to this new epoch era of life and death, COVID. And okay, let's, I'm gonna be really brief, but I wanna know how many minutes I've got, 3, 13,
Let's
20,
take 20, 25, yeah.
20, 25. Okay, thank you. Thank you all my friends and all the dear people that are here listening to us. Well, as you know that I was an assistant to such a radical poet such as Allen Ginsberg. The first 2 names, 2 friends that came to my mind because of radicality and profundity, activism of their work was Malik and Jamika, of course. So that's, here we are together tonight. So now, roller skating notes, the first one, the first poem in the book to come out, I hope, by the end of this year, by Cool Grove Press in New York. It is so much better to get a pair of roller skates and set a poem free. It is so much more interesting to see some friends once a year. It is so mucho painful to see some people every day. It is certainly much more subliminal to be left alone, write diaries, or read an air-conditioned Blaise Sandrard. It is certainly much more useful to lie down, not move, touch the earth, kiss the floor, embrace the door, and much more. Perhaps just howl and hold someone dear to you. It is certainly much more practical to fumble through invoices, legal documents, or unfinished galleys of a commercial publisher. It is certainly much more satisfying to sit on a Kandahar balcony, patting an Afghani hound in a lazy crystalline afternoon dusk. It is certainly much more romantic to be Dracula's lover, or Voltaire's fellow talker in a European gloomy castle, or drink beer at CBGB's with your ball chain and leather psychedelic pals. Evidently, it takes much more effort to sign petitions to set prisoners free, write phony mail to Iron Curtain cordial officials, or answer useless or urgent calls when your heart is on fire. And it's even more prestigious to keep up with the song lyrics contests or with scoops of the news from various organizational gatherings claiming that you can still print whatever you think about the guy who stopped me on the street this morning, yelling out prophetic words at me, and the one I remember was meant to hit me hard below every inch of the belt. If you want to skate, he said, you have to have an attitude. And this glorious city, smaller than life, will not let your poem fly away with that one. Okay. That was the first one. And then from some other eras, uh, poems flying. Instead of a photo or a drawing on Christmas evening, it's like don't let me get misunderstood. That type of poem. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. The wrong sometimes gets hold of us, rears its ugly head, and then disaster, stupidity. The light of reason is flooding my room now. Then the ancient chamber and the entire church of my goodwill, where the secret altar burns, the innermost chapel of my heart. You are in it too, shiny with that light, brighter than the flames, dangerous to reach and lost to my touch. You dwelled in it for quite a while, not paying the rent, ignoring the angels, their tired messages. The price was too high. The ossified bone shell, expensive ivory tower in which our hearts used to speak in rumors or in whispers, crying out loud, cackling. Those hearts burned to ashes, and then the smoke raising about the candles, floating in the air. Yes, constantly floating. But what else could they do? Yet another one is Elysian Fields of Power. It's a contemporary one. No, it was written like 5 years ago, but it's now it turns out to be very contemporary. So Tiny Tom and Speedy Gonzales have had a lab. It was pretty much a physical thing. They tried to outdo the topology of a body in space. From person A to person B ran the power field of a person. So how would we envelop them into our power circle if we were to say, I'm taking over a situation? Then you would say, I don't want to take a person in my power field. I want them to be free. And besides, I'm not Pina Bausch or Vita Conchi. Documentation is more a referent than a remainder, and performance means there's an audience. An event is an accident sometimes, and sometimes it's steady and sleepy like a video. There may be people or not, a couple of technical byproducts, but what always really counts is people who make decision whether to be there or not to be, as we are making a private out of their public space, and not everyone can get it. We are just trying to become these buildings themselves, a part of the architectural landscape, surroundings, which is the other, like the big other. Yeah. And then the Raven. This one I wrote in India, in Kerala, and it's like, of course, after and for Edgar Allan Poe. And it does not mean that all the things won't return with their dreadful refrain, nevermore, nevermore. Remember Rene Char, who said that everything that was taken was returned to him, even his little red truck. But what it means is that they won't come back with that crazy, insane, but to me so dear, adorable intensity. Oh, your pupil, Raven, glistening in your oily eye, shows you at your best, the perfect, arrogant, and abusive creature, domineering, your shape of a lonely bird foreboding. Your eye, translucent and penetrating, observes me intensely just this morning as you land on my Kerala terrace. Yes, you do. And then take fruits from my palm. I've just cut it for you. As you gobble these pieces from my hand, I hear myself whispering semi-absently, nevermore, nevermore, nevermore. Okay, on the lighter side of things, there's active activist performing action. So active activist performing action. You can put these inverted commas wherever you like about any act or action of mine. The entire cities of Paris, London, or Belgrade are my daily stage, where I pound the streets and fill out the refugees' cups with money. As I try not to insult them, I tell them first, Salam alaikum. And when some respond with Alaikum Salam, some also add Shukran. And to some of them I say Afwan. And some of them ask in English, where do I come from? And to some of them I answer, I was born in the state of disgust. And to some of them I say, I was born in the desert. And to some of them I say, I was born in the midst of neoliberal madness. And some of them do think that I'm crazy. And some of them think that I fell in the state of total disgrace. And some of them some of them pat my hand as if it were Fatima's in disguise of an angel. And so I know that I have no other choice but to return home, be like broke, T like tired, M like moved to tears. No, I'm not an anarchist. My grandfather did it for me. Come to think of it, now that I'm at home all alone. Yeah, it's true, actually. My grandfather was an anarchist. um, okay. Post it for eternity. Stay well, be happy, don't be sacrificial, eat no ideology, breathe fresh sentence, let yourself go, change your underwear, empty your mind from time to time, turn around, love this world, don't be pompous. Now, turn around again, forget about the form, tend to the content. Be yourself, content in it. Love your parents. Don't hate the different, nor la différence. Get yourself some kids. Dance yourself to death. Always swim upward against the tide. Forget about art. Try to love habit. Wear soft shoes. Stay warm. Stay warm hearted. Forget about regrets. You're lucky. You'll never die. Was, of course, for a poet, a friend of mine. And, okay, for all my friends, indeed, who are, we are all alike. And as Alan used to say every so often, he was quoting Ovid, he said, there's no mediocrity in poetry. A poet should not be mediocre. That's the only thing forbidden in poetry. You can be bad, you can be good, but you can't be, yeah, okay. So, Confessions of a Fallen Angel, Nietzschean song. It was so easy to penetrate the monastery. Everyone there admired the span of my burnt charcoal wings. I was the best at pushing the metaphor to the utmost insanity. The semi demons were lighting candles for my well being, while eyeing me with a mocking eye. Now, come to think, what idiot would still carry the torch and light up the road when all other angels smoke hookahs and sell dope? They were allowed every folly. They said they were innocent and sexless, good intended, while unaware of their deeds. I knew it. They would not put my name into any evangelist book unless they wanted to criticize it, while awaiting on the Almighty to flush favors upon them. And the local mortals paint their image on their icons. They said, we had given him light, trusted him with that precious stuff, and he had just burned stars with it, that evil angel, that bad, bad, unworthy man. Okay, how many minutes have I got? Still one or two?
Autant que vous voulez.
What?
Just
Non,
one.
mais merci, on va terminer. This smartphone is written for my friend who got killed actually in a Venetian hotel, David Graeber, who started the Occupy Wall Street movement and famous anthropologist. So as I kind of suspected what was going to happen to him, I insisted that he calls me from every airport where he would land at a certain time. And the smartphone, that is a cell phone, would, you know, do its job on it in itself. But okay, smartphone. No fixed term bullshit job per se. Any job can turn into a bullshit job or a dream job. It depends on the treatment of the worker in question. But how do you treat me? Your smartphone smarter than you have ever been. It turned itself on, was turned on by itself, and called me this morning. Okay, I hope he stays alive with us for quite a while. And then the last one is called El Chapo. It's my poem El Chapo. It belongs to a series of my heroes, you know, like Eric Papa Alexander. There are several heroes in the book El Chapo. So they think they got you, and Del Zorro and Che and Fidel Castro. And if they keep you inside the Wall Street dungeon, who is going to supply drugs to the Wall Street lawyers? They cannot function without your coke and yerba buena, and for the mezcal alone, the intellectuals from all these white countries will surely set you free. Perhaps you overdid it in your daily supply of the autonomous power. You audited the Mr. Invisible and gave him the wrong stuff. Your pay was getting smaller and smaller, and your family's that taller. You, hey, I do not know where you, Senor El Chapo, went wrong, but I know the prisons in California can be comfortable, if enough of your pals sit in them too. Watch out for razor blades hidden in a loaf of bread, and don't take too many common showers. You are El Prince y El Gato, lord of any drug war in town. You are no terrorist, babe, and the prayer rug is safe under your feet. It's all the matter of money and some wrong payola, and those who should be in jail instead of, and who rule the world, will need you soon to be out doing some dirty job for them. You're dealt directly with the coke kings of Colombia who flew the stuff from the Andean jungles to Mexico, each of their planes carrying a ton of product. And then, in no time, you used to smuggle that greed into California. They called you El Rapido just now. Listen to the song, Guantanamera, and soon you will be at large and riding the Pampas again. Thank you.
Wow. Oh, amazing, Nina. Thank you. Everything I've read, it just continues to be better and better. So that book will be out this fall on Cool Grove, is that
I
right?
hope so. I hope we will be out this fall too. It's like all the things are being postponed indefinitely. And whenever I want to do something, either fly or, move through the street or buy some groceries, they say, okay, you're in a lockdown again. So we just hope, that we will come out of this situation, as they say, crise sanitaire, sanitary crisis, and then
May I say
with
it's
the
coming out?
publishers, yeah.
Mr. Cool Groves?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Oops, you went to mute.
the
There you go.
book, the official date is like September release date. So this book is definitely coming out, and I hope Nina will be able to be here. That would be amazing.
Yeah, we got to get all three of those folks over to New York or Philly to read, huh?
That would be great. And you're in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Likewise. Thank you for coming, and
Thank
thank
you,
everybody for coming. So if it wasn't for the lockdown, where would you be going for coffee after this, Nina? What's your favorite cafe?
Perhaps that would be Jamika's Cafe, right? Aaren, Jamika's Cafe. Maybe one day it will be named after her, Jamika's Cafe. But right now it's near Gare du Nord. It's like a cafe, Gare du Nord, where all the, like-minded individuals who have something to say. As my students ask me every so often, they start crying because, oh, teacher, it's like we can't really swallow that language, meaning English, because the 100-year war has never ended. It still goes on between England and France, and so on. And all the students, French students, they suffer a lot. They say, teacher, we can't pronounce any English word. But I say, just a language. I mean, if you have something to say, you can say in any given language. You have something to say. If you have nothing to say, even your mother tongue wouldn't help you. I don't know what to say.
Oh, can we quote you for this international series? What you just said, if you have something to say, you can say it in any language.
Exactly.
That's a nice slogan for our international series. We have a bunch of other writers coming up who are breaking down borders.
Yes, definitely. But come to think of it, how many people, like in your mother tongue, do they have something to say? Don't have anything to say? There's no use of studying Japanese to, if they have nothing to say in their mother tongue.
No, if I learned anything studying Spanish, it was that there's more to English and every other language than I ever suspected. So you might even be able to say it better in other languages. Who knows? Yeah, that's cool. So you're still teaching?
I'm trying to zoom in. Like I suffer. I can't really. I'm not the right person for the Zoom. For Zoom lessons and so on, because I always worked with theater. I worked with living theater. I worked with theater. So like I was never predestined to work. That's why actually I couldn't be a film actress or someone like that, because I really I can't get used to film, Zoom, camera. I'm really like a people person. There's just like I'd rather have this conversation that we see one another. It's like a room, and you sit or whatever. I sit and you move and you recite your own work. We exchange, but just to zoom, I mean, any sort of camera. Although I'm in love with filmmakers, because it's so beyond me. Like I can't really, I can't do it.
Yeah. Well, you just did, all three of you. I know you're very, very much live, in person, performers, vibing off of living beings while you do your thing. And I think it came through really nicely what you did on the reading today. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting us.
Yeah,
That's really lovely.
definitely. It was fun.
Do you have another minute? There were two people. Molly, did you want to say a poem? And Kate was dying to say a poem. Kate, are you still there?
Here.
Hi.
Hello.
Molly, yeah.
Nina, I've been waiting to see you for so long. This is such a pleasure. And actually, I have a poem that I wrote 30 years ago.
Wow. Those were the days when we were reading The Checker Demon, you remember, in your loft and so on. You know, your parents, they were lovely. They were letting me stay like a poor immigrant from Eastern Europe.
Oh, in the little closet in the hallway. I've ended up there too. But this, I have a poem for you, called I am a little nervous. Incantation to the goddess Nina.
Yeah.
The feather you wore, the one you called macaroni, the little asterisk that served as your mouth, your well-placed size, 1,000 lovers, complex braid of husbands and immigration officers, eye of newt, wing of bat. You waft in, but only as memory. Nothing so tangible as a note or photograph, only something windblown around the globe. There are 2 pages, recto and verso. On the first, you are rapturous. He is beautiful as an Elgin marble. Julian has taken me under his wing. On the next, you're hogtied, canned from a bad job, selling your clothes. The Lower East Side, which you stood by for a time with fierce patriotism, is thrown over for Hollywood. You phone. Hello, kiddo, you say, downhearted, the colloquialism at odds with your Croatian accent. It's always been this way. I think of you and you simply flower, appear. The telephone rings at midday, or you trump 4 flights, your mother in tow, a chunk of cheese, 3 beers in a bag, and there you are. As quickly you vanish with the caprice of a blown kiss. But it's been years now, building on years. The baby is born and walking. The car where you slept drunk as we circled Hoboken to find your home is junked. And I've taken up Petty Point, quit smoking. The table is laid each night. You're still expected. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much.
How sweet, beautiful.
Oh,
So I'm glad I got to share it with you.
no, it's so lovely. It's like we haven't seen each other for so long. And my mother was always telling me, please stay in Philadelphia. Don't go to the bad New York City, fooey. And, I just like I had to go.
I listened
don't
to
know.
her. I never left. But
Neither did a lot of people. They came to Philly and heard voices like you and Nina, and they said, there must be something about this place. We're sticking around.
oh, that's it. Yeah, it's a good place. It's beautiful to see and hear, my friend. And you too, Aaren. I haven't seen you in quite a while.
Likewise. It's been forever. Thank you, Molly. You get everybody make it down to Molly's bookstore.
Molly, can you send me through Aaren? I mean, Aaren could give you my email or something.
Yes, I will.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. I just talked to her brother last night.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you.
Kate, are you still with us? Can you?
I am here. I'd like to do a poem I wrote a few years ago when I had 5 visitors from France. We put our heads together and translated it into French. Excuse me. I'm going to do it in French first and then in English. L'esprit de la fête. La nouvelle année s'insinue alors que rien n'est fini. Nous portons nos résolutions comme des sacs poubelles, bien prêts à éclater. Cela ne me décourage pas. Je prolonge la date limite pour mes résolutions de 365 jours. Ça laisse en fête mon esprit. New Year cheer. The new year slides in, though nothing is finished. We carry out our resolutions like sacks of trash at the point of bursting. It doesn't discourage me. I've extended my deadline for resolutions to 365 days a year. It keeps me in a holiday spirit.
Awesome. Thank you, Kate. Always love hearing your work, but that one's a nice throwback. Thanks for reading so nicely in French. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Timeless.
Bonjour tout le monde et merci à vous, Larry, Sonia, Aaren, Malik, Jamika et Nina et tout le monde d'autre.
Merci beaucoup, Kate.
Kate.
Poetry is a healing force. Any other comments, or as my teacher Etheridge Knight used to say, any other questions, comments, or confrontations?
May I just say something? As an independent publisher, Nina's publisher, I like to say thank you very much for hosting this and creating this event and space. And then I hope that I'll find ways to be in touch with you guys, and we have other events and people to introduce to the world. I hope that we can work together.
Nice, yeah. We'll keep in touch.
Yeah.
And have a great rest of the year, everybody.
Thank you. You as well.
Yeah, same to you, man.
We're lucky we're still here. Thank you.
Any other comments or haiku or quick
What
hellos?
about Lamont? Yeah, Lamont.
Do you, sorry, my name is Feresh Sholovar. I'm just asking to know if you have an open mic or it's just the feature readers.
I'm sorry, I didn't formally say it, but we're just kind of rolling into it.
Oh.
Do you have something you would like to share?
Yeah, I can share a poem in English and in French, but I have to get it. If you, is there time for me to read?
Yeah, let's see if we can squeeze a haiku out of Lamont while you go get your poem.
Okay.
Lamont, I know you have something memorized. You just had to unmute yourself. Lamont, if you're talking, you got to unmute yourself. Oh, there you go.
Sunset, beyond razor wire, beautiful danger. Sunset, beyond razor wire, beautiful danger. Is anyone else reading in the open, Aaren? Can I read 2 poems as part of the open?
I think that the featured poets approve.
Okay.
That's a good thing about Zoom, man. If somebody's got somewhere to go better than poetry, they can just do it.
Okay. This poem is for my late brother, Harry. Pittsburgh forever walked in your bones. The doo-wop of childhood, your anthem, your mystery, your history of joy. When mama adored your every move. And this last one, and again, it's wonderful to see Nina, and I didn't know you had a PhD. Congratulations.
Don Lamont, I didn't know I had a PhD either. You know, it's just like I was starving as usual. You know, I must say, and you know, someone told me like you should get a PhD. In that way, you would get a diploma that would get you like a better paid, you know, teaching class or something. That's like instead of 5 cents, you will be getting $5 an hour. You know, so I decided to get a PhD. Here's Malik. He's laughing. He got it.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. I'm working on a book called Woke. Aaron's been helping me put the manuscript together, and it deals with the George Floyd incident.
Oh yeah.
And it's dedicated to George Floyd, Eric Gardner, Elijah McCain, and Breonna Taylor. If I can just find it here. Okay, well, I can't find it, but I'll read this one. It's called The Advanced for Amiri and Amina Baraka. Those Coltrane notes, those sax notes, those tenor sax notes, McCoy Tyner on piano, Steve Davis on bass, Elvin Jones drums, that mystical mix rolling out Equinox in '64. Amiri Baraka dug it, Amina dug it, that sound rolling out, rolling in like some kind of blood tide, eternal in its mystery, eternal in its hipness. Close your eyes, black out the world, be in darkness with just the notes, black notes. That's Africa you hear calling. That's the soundtrack of the advanced, the spiritual warriors, the cats who dip and glide from side to side, the dreamers raised by cleaners, cats so sane they mad, the walkers and talkers, the beboppers. These be midnight suns, late lurkers up till dawn, human shadows, the substance of spirits, warriors of magic, deep thinkers, eaters of manna and rain, kings of mathematical pain. Cats so out, they stand in space, levitate wherever they be. Sonic shamans. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Wait till you hear the rest of that collection, people. That's that.
What's
Woke.
the name of that collection?
Woke.
Woke.
When's the collection coming out?
Hopefully it'll be out by this summer.
Yes.
From my press. I have a press. It's called Whirlwind Press.
Whirlwind. How do
And
you
I'm
spell that?
WHIRLWIND.
Okay.
It's named after a famous quote from Marcus Garvey. Look for me in the whirlwind.
In the whirlwind, yeah.
Or the storms.
Yeah.
Where I will bring with me millions of slaves who died in Africa and the Americas and the islands of the sea to aid you in your fight for life, liberty, and freedom.
Black Star.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing, Lamont.
Merci, Lamont.
Oh, peace. Thank you.
Hey.
Thank
That's
you, Lamont.
right.
I have a very serious question for you and for Aaren and for everybody. Are things getting a little bit better in the U.S. right now? That's a question that I'm sharing, I guess, with Jamika and Malik as well.
No. No. Capital no, exclamation point.
No.
At this moment, while we're on this reading, yes.
Okay.
500 homicides in Philadelphia as of this year. As of right now.
No.
Wow.
500
No.
homicides.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Plenty of work to do.
Do you want to hear some darkness from London? Do you want to hear some? I wrote this on in Berlin. It's a rough edit. I've done a different edit since. This is the one that I can find that's printed.
Yes, Kirsty, yes, please. But we told Faresh to grab a poem. She's going to say one
Yeah,
and then we'll hear from you.
Cool, thank you. And sorry, I've got awful sound here as well. So
it's just a simple poem, not complicated. Of course, it's in 4 languages that I wrote, but I just read in 2 languages because today is French program. In the season of cherries, he returns in the season of cherries, like before, like always, like the return of the moon to a solitary sky, colored rose to cherry blossoms, smile of the yellow-eyed sun to the face of the mesmerized dawn, green shades of newborn leaves to the lawns and open-armed trees, the scent of honeysuckles to the summer porch, silky touch of breeze to the longing skin, and the migration of swallows to warm lands. He returns and roams in my thoughts like a permanent vagabond.
Huh.
OK. À la saison des cerises. Il revient dans la saison des cerises, comme avant, comme toujours, comme le retour de la lune dans un ciel solitaire, la couleur rose aux cerises, sourire du soleil aux yeux jaunes, au visage de l'aube hypnotisée, nuances vertes de feuilles nouveau-nées, aux pelouses et aux arbres à bras ouverts. Parfum de chèvrefeuille aux porches d'été, le toucher soyeux de la brise aux bras désireux, et la migration des hirondelles vers les terres chaudes. Il revient et persiste dans mes pensées comme un vagabond permanent. Merci and thank you.
Thank you.
Larry, we have time. Thank you so much, Faresh. That was beautiful and real great reading. Larry, do we have time for one more open mic?
Certainly.
Okay. Kirsty.
thank you, and apologies for my audio. And it's so good to see you, Nina and Malik. Lockdown.
Here stay.
Oh, it's been tough.
Cold lips, baby lovers.
Oh, this I wrote this in Berlin, which has been my only escape from lockdown in London. We did a residency out there, so it's got nothing to do with Paris, but Nina and Malik are my Paris, so here we go. It's called The Dark Carnival. It's the inked underworld, the creeping fair-skinned escape, the Shangri-La of octopus legs. I've stopped counting the days, hours, the threats of fate, the pierced minds, the foil face, death masks take longer to dissolve than this mortality, because we're not ready to live forever, not with this behavior. Singularity, it could be fragile, spindle, Z body, A body, death, old alphabet, snowflake, star, cloak, Bolsheviks, bullying, survivors compete, bunker versus gas chamber. Do you want extraordinary or a broken reality? Because wisdom, she springs out over the tram rails by the vegan Vietnamese behind the Jewish cemetery ambulance. She is crushed and the woods are inside out and the cities burn backwards and dendrochronology reverses and old trees are felled. Bark is the last word here. And when you look in my eyes, do you see the lines? Do you choke on where we've been or think about what we'll see? Because the data perverts, it rusts, it's in a glass box of ignorance, and it adjusts a covenant of protection for the OAPs to remain in the mouths. This was Apple putting dizzy spells, chaos matrix, pyramid shop, unwelcome. The OAPs were not allowed in the Apple glass temple. It was a fascist, aspirational fetishist move. They kicked them out. Age means nothing. Nicked. A sheet of cardboard, a deck of cash, 1,000 million billions in a cellophane snack, confetti, a sack, confetti, trash. Delivery is free, breaking knees for £3 an hour on a promise of full work tomorrow, but the boss is a jerk who'll take 3/3. and then it goes on for a while. But yeah, that's nice to just share for a little while anyway. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow.
Nice.
Global reading, people. This is great. Thank you for sharing, Kirsty. So Sonia, could you remind folks about next week if they have time next Sunday?
Sure. I feel like I'm the only one speaking French. Not the only one, but very few, so I'm going to say it in English. Next week, same day, same time, Sunday. We are welcoming 5 poets, poetess, artists who are going to read mostly in French, except for
Something happened. There you go.
who muted me. So 4 artists are going to, 4 poets are going to perform in French, and 1 Sojourner Hahibi is going to read in English. You can register as soon as today at Moonstone website or at on the Alliance Française website, Alliance Française de Philadelphie. It's a free event. Hope you can make it, and thank you for being here today, and thank you in advance for being here next week. Merci beaucoup.
Very cool.
Merci beaucoup à vous.
Ouais, vraiment.
Plaisir.
Vraiment.
Thank you, Sonia. Thank you, Larry.
Ouais, merci Larry.
Oh, Malik blew my mind. Thank you for your work, Jamika, Malik, and Nina.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup.
Yeah, merci beaucoup. It was really
and thanks to everybody who came out. That was a great vibe.
Yeah, wonderful vibe. And
Lamont, salute.
Thanks for all you do, Larry. Appreciate it, man. Okay, so keep in touch online.
A comment. Okay, Larry and Robin, I will send a donation to both of your organizations. Okay, I appreciate it. I really enjoyed the program.
Thanks,
Fantastic.
Baron. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you, Baron. That helps. Oh, so stay in touch. We're going to get through this. We just keep walking across this poetry bridge. Eventually it'll touch down in a good place.
All right. Thanks again, Aaren.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. Wonderful.
Peace. Yeah, thanks, everyone. Thank you, guys. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
That was a great experience.
Likewise. Thank you so much for making the time.
All right.
Is Larry gone or is he
Take
still
care.
there? Oh,
Faresh, I think he's still here.
he is? Okay, I don't know if we wanted to talk about something, Larry and I don't know if he has time to do it now or.
No, let's not do it now. But I am interested in this international aspect.
Yes.
What, to do things in dual languages from all over the world. I do want to talk to you about that. I have someone else who's talking about a program in Welsh. I just think it's amazing. And as Aaren was saying, it destroys boundaries. It brings us together, and that's what we're interested in. But
sounds great to me.
this is not quite the time.
Okay, no, I thought after everybody leaves.
Yeah.
But whenever you want to talk about it.
Okay, let's email.
Yeah, okay, yeah, all right.
Thanks for coming, Faresh. And
Yeah,
Kate.
thank you. I wanted to come earlier, but I was reading at Manyang Art Center program.
Oh, good.
So they have like poets and paintings. So that's why I was late.
That's Philly every day, 3 or 4 readings at the same time.
Yes. But I'm glad I could make it to your program. Yes.
Nice. More to come.
More to come. Thanks for sharing your poem in French.
Oh, thank you. I write in French, German, English, and my own language, which is Farsi.
Wow.
Yes. Are you with Alliance Française?
Yes.
Sonia?
Yes, I'm the director of Alliance Française.
Okay, if you would do me a favor and send me your emails through chat.
Oh, yeah.
I'll contact you and we can talk in French.
Voilà.
Merci beaucoup.
Je vous en prie. Welcome. Au revoir
Okay.
tout le monde. Bye everyone.
Bye.
Well,
Have a great rest
bye-bye.
of the day.
Thank you.
Peace and
you
blessings,
too.
Nina.
Thank you. Have a good rainy day.